Hi, my name's Kyle Coverline. I'm with Bluegrass Truck, Bus, and RV in Georgetown, Kentucky. And as part of a kind of a travel tip and help RVing, a big part of that is definitely riding bicycles as a family. And so over the years, we've come up with some different options. When the kids are the youngest, obviously a bike trailer is the most beneficial. And I'll show my bike trailer, but Fisher here loves riding the shotgun seat where he sits right in front of me, and I'll show a picture of that, and I'll get into it. But right now we're just cruising around the trails at Gulf State Park. Our family loves coming down here, and there's 26 miles of biking. It's beautiful. We find alligators and do all kinds of fun stuff. But I'll get to it and talk about some of these options. Okay, so this is my giant e-bike, and you can see where I had my son ride, and this is called a shotgun seat. Fisher loves riding it. Flint didn't do it as much because I got it kind of when he was already a little too old for it, but Fisher just absolutely loves going fast and riding on it. Basically all you have to do is you take one of your rings out of here, you pull your handlebar out, and then you replace one of the rings with this little collar that this snaps into, and then it just clamps on your seat post. And so literally I just loosen this up, and then this over here clamps over, that clamps over, and that pulls right off. I can have that seat on, and it's super adjustable. Your seat can slide back and forth. We can change the tilt, we can change the length of the legs, the angle of the legs, that way it fits to where your child can sit nice and like right in front of you. I feel very safe riding with my son. I got friends that mountain bike with their kids on those things because they're just right there in front of them, and you've got they're right between your arms, and it feels very safe. So then the other option I've done, I don't have one with me, but I'll talk about it real quick, is so you got the shotgun seat, and then I've also done with my oldest son the tag along, which is basically there's another bracket that attaches here, and you can look up online, and then a bar comes up and over, and then they basically have a bicycle they're riding on back here. It has a rear tire, no front tire, but they can actually pedal and help. My wife just came out of here and she's distracting me. So this is my wife's e-bike, and the kids like riding behind her in the trailer. And the trailer we bought, that was the first thing that our oldest son, who's now 7, rode in, even before he was 1. This is a Burley 2-person bike trailer. They make all kinds of accessories too. You can use this thing like a dang stroller if you want to. You can buy the wheels that go in the front. They make the center wheel that goes in there, so you can run with it if you want to. Of course, that's the arm that's now attached, to be able to attach it to the bike. The only thing that you have to add to the bike is there's a little thing that bolts into the axle here for the tire, and then this arm that you see here has a pin that goes through it and holds it there, and then it's got a safety strap. I have no worries of that coming apart. That's probably a legal thing from Burley to have an extra strap to hold the bike to the trailer to the bike, but I wrap it around the bike and clip it on like you're supposed to. So we have ragged this thing out. We have drug it all over the country. So this piece here comes off, for packing it down. And then the tires, you push these buttons. We've added some lights. We did a glow ride with the kids not too long ago. But you push these buttons in, and these tires slide right off. Same thing on the other side. And then the underneath here, there's 2 yellow clips that you push under, and this whole thing folds down and goes down flat. So it's about down to here. And then I've put it in the RV, like in the top bunk up there sometimes, but most of the time with the kids we're traveling with our car, and so this Burley bike trailer will actually fit in the largest Yakima rocket box that's on the far side there. That closer box is my fishing box. It's got my surf rods in it. And then Burley does make several different models, but these seats actually are adjustable where you can move them up and down. For the most part, we keep them tilted back for the kids so they can just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride and be comfortable. It is nice that they can slide forward though. Makes it easier to shove stuff down in there. That's one thing that's been great about having a bike trailer most of the time when we go places. You got a way to cart your kid, but then you can also cart beach stuff and toys and locks and camera equipment, or just anything you possibly think you might need. Gives you tons of storage. But yeah, that's basically our setup. The bike trailer, we've used a ton. We've literally ragged that thing out, and we'll continue to rag that thing out. And then, of course, the shotgun seat until my kids are too big. My 7-year-old is now riding on his own. He's got a little, here, I'll show you over here. He's got a little mountain bike that he likes to ride. Today we rode 10 miles, which was like a little far for him. And so a perfect example, I'll be creative, is, we ended up throwing him, even at 7, he's still able to, we can shove him in there. We can shove him into the bike trailer. And then I just took some straps and strapped his mountain bike on the back of the trailer. That way he could ride and rest his legs. The whole reason we got e-bikes to begin with was I got my wife an e-bike because the kids like riding behind my wife. And so, it was a struggle of us trying to keep up with each other. She's trying to pull a kid, and of course I'm by myself. And so, I'll get her an e-bike so she can, have extra power to help pull the kids. And then we can ride together easier. Well, then the opposite thing happened. We got to where I had a hard time, and I was working my tail end off trying to keep up with her because she was on an e-bike. Because these e-bikes they're crank-driven motors. So when you look at e-bikes, you either have a crank-driven motor or you have a hub-driven motor. The crank-driven motors, in my opinion, are a lot better because it makes riding a bicycle seem a lot more natural, like riding a bike. That motor is in the crank, and it is offsetting the amount of effort it takes to pedal. These e-bikes are class 2s. They do not have a throttle on them. I can just adjust how much the bike is assisting the effort of pedaling. And because of that motor is in the crank, you also still get the mechanical advantages of the gears versus just having a motor in the hub that turns. And so when you have the motor in the hub, which is fine, and the bikes that typically have the hub motors are a little less expensive, which is fine, but it feels a lot more like riding a moped or an electric motorcycle, versus the natural feel this gives you of actually still feel like you're shifting and riding a bicycle. You just have the ability to minimize the amount of effort it takes, and that's what I want. I didn't want to take away the feel of riding a bicycle, but still be able to cart our kids in the trailer. And then ultimately Dad had to get him an e-bike, which we still ride our normal mountain bikes and stuff too, but when we're traveling and going places and doing the tourist thing, we're in Gulf Shores right now, they're pretty nice to have. And then most of the time with those, I cart them on this one up rack. So with the kids, we now flat tow more times than not. This is the car we've been flat towing. This is a 21 Crosstrek. And so with the way I got my dual hitch set up here, I can flat tow. And then the one up racks go up as you get farther away from the vehicle. And so that gives me the ability to put up to 4 bikes on here and still flat tow my car and clear the hood. I hit my hood once, but buddy, that was a super steep drop and up that I've only ever done one time, and I knew better when I was doing it. Because this actually, these little bolts back out right here, and I can actually add another extension, and I've got it at home to put the 4th bike on here. Right now, it's just not something that I need with the 3-year-old because he's riding in the trailer on the shotgun seat. Now, I will tell you, and I don't see it. Oh, I see it sitting over here. Man, my number 1 tip for any kids today: don't put them on a tricycle. Don't put them on something with 3 wheels. Don't do training wheels. If you really, my kid, Flint wasn't even 4, and he was riding a bicycle with no training wheels. It was a Guardian brand bike. It's actually a Shark Tank success. But get your kid a Strider and get them on that as little as possible, 2 years old, because they'll learn the balance. They can keep their feet on the ground and they basically walk with it, but they'll learn that aspect of balance so early. Like I said, Flint was, I'm pretty sure he wasn't 4 yet. He was almost 4, and he was riding a pedal bike around the campground, no training wheels, just zinging along. Once again, my name is Kyle Coberline. I'm part of the sales team at Bluegrass Truck, Bus, and RV in Georgetown, Kentucky. Thanks for checking out another one of my videos. I hope this is helpful more than anything. It shows that we're all real people at our dealership. We love and do the RV thing ourselves with some of our people, and camping and fishing and just sharing some of our knowledge. And we want to educate customers, not just be here to sell you stuff. So if we can be of any help, always feel free to reach out to us. And thanks again.